The desert sun burned like a molten crown above the vast expanse of New Mexico, casting long shadows that shimmered and quivered in the heat. Dust spiraled lazily in the golden air as a lone cowboy, Eli Turner, rode his weary Mustang across the horizon. His hat was tilted low, sweat tracing the lines of his rugged face, and his eyes, steel gray and quiet, searched the land like a man who'd lived too long with silence. Eli wasn't a hero. He was a ranch hand hardened by sun, solitude, and sorrow. He'd lost friends to raids, cattle to drought, and faith to time. But that day, fate had written his name into a story far beyond cattle and fences. He came upon the scene just after noon, a cluster of fallen timber near a dry creek bed, and beside it a young Apache woman struggling to lift a massive log. Her dark braids clung to her back, her hands raw, her arms trembling under the weight. She muttered in frustration, her voice thick with exhaustion. "It's too long and hard. How can cowboys carry this?" Her tone wasn't mocking. It was pure disbelief, spoken to the sky, to the spirits, to herself. Eli slowed his horse, studying her. The Apache and the ranchers rarely crossed paths in peace. Mistrust ran deep. Years of blood and misunderstanding had carved invisible walls between their worlds. Yet there was something in her eyes, a fierce determination that mirrored his own. He dismounted without a word, his boots sinking into the dust, and tipped his hat. "Ma'am," he said calmly, "mind if I lend a hand?" She looked up sharply, eyes narrowing like a mountain cat ready to strike. "You help Apache?" she asked. "Don't see anyone else around," Eli said with a half-smile, grabbing the other end of the log. Together they heaved it upright, muscles straining, breath locking in rhythm. The timber thudded into place beside others, a part of some kind of wooden structure. The woman stepped back, wiping her forehead, watching him cautiously. "Why you help?" she demanded, suspicion curling in her tone. "Because it looked heavy," he said simply. "And because my pa raised me better than to leave someone fighting alone." She blinked, caught off guard by his calmness. "I am Nita," she finally said, her voice softening. "Daughter of Chief Koa. This wood is for our winter shelter. The men went north to hunt. I must build before they return." Eli nodded, glancing at the pile of timber yet to be moved. "That's a tall order for one person," he muttered. "Guess I can stick around for a bit." For the next few hours, under that blistering sun, the unlikely pair worked side by side. They lifted, balanced, hammered, and set. Nita was strong and proud, her movements sharp and purposeful. Eli, though worn from years of ranch work, found a strange sense of peace in the silence between them. When they paused to drink from his canteen, Nita glanced at him curiously. "You not fear Apache?" she asked. "Fear?" he repeated, wiping his mouth. "I've seen men kill over less than fear. But I don't see a warrior here. I see someone just trying to survive, same as me." She studied him, her gaze long and unreadable. "Cowboys take from our land," she said quietly. "They say Apache steal horses. Who tells truth?" Eli chuckled, a low sound that drifted like wind through sagebrush. "Truth's a hard thing to carry. Heavy as that log you were hauling. Guess both sides got reasons. But maybe truth ain't who's right. It's who's still standing when the dust settles." She tilted her head, unsure whether to be offended or impressed. Then, unexpectedly, she smiled, a brief, genuine curve of her lips. As the sun dipped low, turning the sky into a molten sea of orange and crimson, the two sat beside the nearly finished structure. Nita handed him a small pouch of roasted corn and venison. "Eat," she said. "You help, you share." Eli nodded, taking it gratefully. For a long while they ate in silence, listening to coyotes cry from the far hills. When she spoke again, her tone carried a shadow. "Cowboy," she said softly, "tomorrow you go home. But your people and mine, they will fight again. Always." Eli looked into the fire that crackled between them, the embers glowing like dying stars. "Maybe," he said, "but maybe one day someone will see what we did today and think different. Maybe one man and one woman lifting the same weight means something." Nita's eyes flickered, reflecting both hope and doubt. "You speak like old spirit," she whispered. "Maybe I'm just tired of hate," Eli replied. That night, the wind howled across the plain, carrying whispers of old battles and broken promises. But in that little clearing, peace held fast. Two souls from rival worlds bound by sweat, silence, and shared strength. Yet dawn never comes easy in a land scarred by vengeance. As the first light spread across the ridges, Eli awoke to the distant sound of hooves. Many hooves. Nita's expression turned grave. My people return, she said. They will not understand you helped. Eli rose slowly, his instincts honed by danger. Then I best be going, he said, tightening his saddle straps. Wait, Nita said urgently, stepping forward. If they see you ride, they chase. I tell them you go north. You go south, quick. He paused, eyes locking with hers. You'd lie for me? You help me, she said simply. Now I help you. The rumble grew louder, warriors cresting the ridge, feathers and spears glinting like fire. Eli swung into the saddle. Guess we're even then, he said with a small grin. Nita reached up, her hand brushing his reins. Not even, she whispered. We are same, people who carry too much. For a heartbeat, their world stood still. Cowboy and Apache, enemies by birth, allies by choice. Then Eli spurred his horse southward, dust rising like a ghostly shroud behind him. When the warriors thundered into the clearing, Nita stood tall, her face calm. No white man here, she said in Apache. He was spirit helping with the wood. The men looked at her skeptically, but her father, Chief Koa, saw the structure nearly complete and nodded with pride. Spirit or man, he said, the work stands. That is what matters. Days later, under the quiet stars, Nita placed a carved wooden figure near the shelter, a cowboy holding a log, his face gentle but strong. She whispered a prayer that one day the earth would remember not just battles but kindness. Miles away, Eli rode beneath the same stars, touching the pouch of roasted corn she had given him. He smiled faintly, whispering, It's too long and hard. Yeah, it sure is, but maybe worth carrying. And so the legend spread of the Apache woman who asked for help and the cowboy who answered. Not with bullets, but with hands strong enough to lift the weight of hate and turn it into hope. Days after Eli rode away, the Apache camp buzzed with tension. Chief Koa had returned from the hunt, his eyes sharp as eagle talons. He studied the shelter, strong, well-built, unusual in design. Who helped you, daughter? He asked. Nita hesitated, feeling her heart race. A spirit came, she said carefully. A man with eyes like steel and hands that did not tremble. The chief frowned, knowing spirits rarely left boot prints. That night, warriors whispered they had seen horse tracks leading south, white man's tracks. The air grew heavy with suspicion. Koa ordered scouts to ride at dawn. Meanwhile, miles away, Eli reached his ranch, yet peace escaped him. He couldn't forget her eyes, the strength in her voice. The land felt emptier now. As he fixed fences and mended saddles, he heard the echo of her words. We are same, people who carry too much. At sunset, he saw smoke rising in the distance, Apache territory. He feared the worst. His heart argued against his mind, but decency won. He mounted up again, knowing the risk. Back at the Apache camp, tension broke when the scouts returned with Eli's bandana, dropped near the creek. The warriors prepared for vengeance, but Nita stood before them. He carried wood, not weapon, she cried. He showed no hate. Her defiance stunned even her father. Silence hung between them like a drawn bowstring. Then Chief Koa raised his hand. No war for one man's kindness, he declared. If a cowboy helped my daughter, then perhaps not all cowboys are enemies. That night, Nita stood beneath the stars, whispering toward the southern hills. Ride safe, Eli Turner. And far away, the cowboy looked up at the same sky, whispering, Stay strong, Nita. 2 souls, 2 worlds, but one truth carried between them. Sometimes, what's too long and hard to carry alone can be lifted by the weight of another's heart.